Well, now I want to tell you which are the most important benefits that we will have doing these exercises using the step-by-step method I introduced in the previous video. So the first benefit is that in this way, doing these exercises with this method, we will develop our composing instinct. We will develop a very strong composing instinct. And it is quite clear because in the first step, we said that in the first step, we have to write, to compose a melody, a very short melody, of course, using only our instinct. And so in this way we get used to composing, and so to improve our instinct. So this way we practice a lot with this. So this is the first step. The second one is that by analyzing our piece, our melody, and looking for all the various faults of it, we will develop a critical skill. And this is very important to having a critical skill is essential to learn to compose, to be a composer. So because this way we don't need help from someone else, we can work only on our own. We can judge, we are able to judge our melody, to understand which are the good parts and which are the bad parts, and so to work on them and to correct them and to change them, so that we can have a better melody. Of course, it takes some time to get used to, and it takes some time to developing this kind of critical skill, and we need some training, of course. So it is important to practice day by day, but in this way you will develop this. It is sure of it. Okay. And now I want to point about this point. So the second aspect that we were going to develop using this method and these exercises is this. I want to point out this. We don't have to we don't have to analyze our melody while we are composing it, because it is very difficult to judge our melody while we are composing it, because when we compose a melody, we play it many times, so we listen to it many times, so it is quite difficult to judge because we always listen to it. So this is the reason why we need we have to wait for some hours or for some days, so to wait for some times, and then we are ready to judge it, because if we wait for some times, then we will listen again to it as if it were the first time, and as if it were written, as this melody were written by another composer. And so this is a very good way to have an objective point of view, a critical point of view, what we call a critical point of view. Well, now we come to the third point, the third benefit that we will have in this way. Because by correcting the faults, so trying to improve some parts and so on, we will learn the composing technique. Because one of the most important points of a composing technique is to be able to correct the faults of the melody, so to remove the bad parts, the bad points of it, and of course to change the other part as a consequence of removing some parts, of changing some parts. So we have to get used to modify the melody, so it is for if you want to be a composer, or only if you want to compose some pieces, it is important so to consider a melody something that we can change everything. We must do this to have a good final product. So it is very important, this is to have something, we could say, to know that we have to change some parts and so on and so on. So of course, and again, it takes some time to get used to, but of course, practicing day by day, we will improve also this skill. So now we come to the fourth benefit, which is this: composing means also to decide, because sometimes when we judge our melody, we find some faults. We have to find we find some solutions, but sometimes we have more than one solution, and so sometimes it is quite difficult to decide if to choose one or another one, and this is something very important. So we have to get used to deciding, to make decisions, because it often happens that people stop and they don't know, they cannot decide because they are uncertain if what to choose, and it is not so good, this, because we spend too much time only to decide only on one part, and we have to do this. We have to decide it, and of course we know that we can come back to that point whenever we want, and we can change it again. So, but it's important that we don't stop for too much time in the various points to make decisions. So we know that we can. It is our melody, and we can change the different points whenever we want. But we have to make decisions. We have to decide which to choose some solution, to choose one solution, and then to go on. Then again, we can come back, of course, whenever we want. Well, now we come to the fifth benefit, which is that in this way, so doing these exercises, we will learn to compose some short, full pieces. This is very important. So to have a final product, a full product, a full piece. So to get used to starting and to finishing a piece, because very often people start and then they stop halfway through the piece. They throw it away. They start again, and then again and again and again. And this is not good, because if you do this, you will never have a full piece. You will never have your own full composition, and of course this is not good. So we have also to settle for our piece. So okay, we have corrected as much as possible, and then we have to settle for it, and then okay, we start with another one. But it is important to complete, to finish it. So to put the final bar, the final line, as we said in music as a musical term. However, we know that we are beginners, that we are starting composing, so we cannot write immediately a wonderful piece. So we have to settle for what we write. So it is important that we do these exercises on a regular basis. So it is better not to do them maybe once or twice every 2 months, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, but on a regular basis. Maybe it is better day by day, on a daily basis, if you have time. Then the last issue that I want to point out before we go more in depth with these exercises is that thanks to these various steps, we can improve our melody. We can have a good final product, even if the first melody, so the starting melody, the one we have written in the first step, is very bad. And this is the reason why we never have to throw it away, even if it sounds bad, even if it sounds very bad, because we only need to work on the faults. Even if the melody is bad, we always can improve it working on the faults, correcting them, and so on and so on. So this is something very important that we have to bear in mind.